Hello, my friends. Lee Seacamp here, coming to you from my office in Nashville, Tennessee. What do you do when the man who is called by Time magazine America's greatest theologian, who also happens to be infamously profane, who also happens to be coming to visit with your people here in the buckle of the Bible Belt in Nashville, Tennessee, well, you make fun of him. Better, you get him to make fun of himself. Enjoy Stanley Hauerwas' acting debut on The Token Show.
It's time once again for that great pillar of the church, that heroic administrative assistant who put the lady in church lady, luck in potluck, and sin in sincere. That's right, it's Betty Swanson, church secretary.
Excuse me, Pastor Bob. I wanted to remind you that Stanley Hauerwas is going to be here this week.
Here? At First Christian Church of Democracy?
Yes. And well, I think it would be best if we could prepare a little for his week-long seminar on church growth.
Well, we already added 4 new coffee bars in our new coffee wing, and our worship leader's skinny jeans are the skinniest jeans around. What more could we do?
We're going to have to ask him to tone it down a little.
Tone it down? Why?
Well, he has been known to be blunt. And let's bring Stanley, oh, here he is, and let's make sure he is wearing his Tone It Down translator.
Did I just hear someone mention the Tone It Down translator?
Yes. Hi, Mr. Hauerwas. It was her, Betty Swanson. She knows all there is to know, from the tone of the pre-church auditorium music to the toner in the copier to toning things.
Stop! The Tone It Down translator is a device that takes the holy complexity of deep theology and tones it down to bland pablum of southern niceties. After all, southern civility is the most calculated form of cruelty ever invented in the world. It makes passive-aggressive behavior an art form.
So basically, it translates what he wants to say into what you want to hear. And the device is virtually invisible. Some politicians hide it in their hairpiece.
Tone it down translator. I might need to try that.
I've heard some of your sermons. Toning it up might be a better direction for you.
Ouch.
You've made people too comfortable. Your version of fundamentalism is, well, fundamentally flawed.
Mr. Hauerwas, is your device working?
Yes, you should hear me when it's turned off.
Well, now, I'm curious and confused, but more curious. Can I ask you some questions and hear your answers with the Tone It Down translator off?
Sure.
And then,
Oh, no.
with it on?
Sure.
Okay, I'm not so sure you want to do that, because I hear he once prayed at Duke University and he didn't have it turned on, and then...
Hearing Hauerwas unfiltered, and then filtered, the only way to understand philosophical theology.
It's fascinating, like having Joel Osteen reading comment sections on your YouTube.
Or having both Niebuhr brothers teaching theology at Liberty University. Am I right, Stanley? High five.
Okay. Go ahead. Flip off your Tone It Down translator. First question. How can we here at First Christian Church of Democracy grow to the point that we have 6 services on Sunday instead of our current 5?
You have totally missed the purpose of the church. You shouldn't even call yourself a church. You're more like a pyramid scheme with a coffee bar and free Wi-Fi.
That hurts. Turn the translator back on.
Pastor Bob, the aim of the church is to provide an alternative to the world.
Wow, that is quite a device. Let's do it again. Flip it off.
Okay, be glad to.
Not again, this is stupid.
Okay, how would you describe narrative theology to a fundamental church that isn't particularly interested in either narratives or theology?
Listen, Betty, today's mainstream church is just a reality show for people who think professional wrestling is real and NASA is fake. I think you people focus on the fun part of fundamental, but I think you really live out there on damn mental part of fundamental.
Wow. I'm really running down my translator's battery today. To answer your question, there's no theology without that story. Oh, and sorry about the knock on professional wrestling.
No offense taken. As fellow theologians, we come from a long line of professional wrestlers with God.
Fellow theologians, just like Duke Divinity School and Trump University, are fellow institutions of higher learning.
What?
Oh, nothing. I think my translator is dying.
Speaking of which, what are your thoughts on death?
I feel like cussing when I talk to people who are afraid of dying. It really makes me sick to my
Gall darn.
stomach when people cannot see that living well inevitably leads to dying well, and I'll be
Dadgum.
if I'm gonna let people wander in the darkness of the fear that some son of a
Nice set of Christian parents, I'm sure.
told them to be afraid. It's just total bull
Fertilizer.
and lies being propagated by feel-good preachers and teachers. I'd really like to kick them in their pseudo-theological...
Mule-like animal resembling a donkey.
Wow, that was incredible. One last question. What should we be teaching when it comes to the current political climate?
Oh, please, let me answer this one, please.
I will get thrown out of Alumni Auditorium if I do.
But don't you think unfiltered Hauerwas is better equipped to talk politics?
Yes, I actually do. There's really no other way to talk about that giant steaming pile of...
Stop. Okay, time for me to get us out of this mess. So, Stanley, here is your new 97-volt battery for your translator. And Pastor Bob, here is your latest issue of Megachurch Weekly. And pay particular attention to the article entitled, Why Church Secretaries Are More Pastoral Than the Pastor. And now, let's all just calm down and enjoy something we can agree on. Great instrumental music.
Focus Radio players, Mr. Stanley Hauerwas, his acting debut here.